IO, and no one can hear you. I don't know why. It's one of those broadcasts tonight, Austin. Let's try and fix this very quickly. But yeah, OHIO, now people should be able to hear you.
Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Welcome to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And we have qualifying up on the screen right now. The results are up on your screen right now. So we're going to go through the grid very shortly. Sorry about the late start. Technical delays. YouTube's being YouTube. Here we go. Adam Blocker starts up on pole, followed up by Mark Usher, Matt Pileski, Will Lamb, Chris Anode, Thomas Zeiger, Hugo Olsen, Chris Ballman, Andreas Ike, Andrew Z. Wood, John Downing, Clark Archer in 12th place, followed up by Simon Bryant, Sherman Vandersloot, Shane Burke, Pablo Marin, Rodrigo Azevedo, Robert Plumley, Olivier Berra, Aaron Roofs, Bob McDonald, Kurt Haw Jensen, Alessandro Dalladone, Clint Martian, followed up by Ken Suzuka and Chris Thompson, making up our 26 car grid here at lovely Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, a track that I've driven on in real life.
Yes, sir. I didn't want to say it, but you said it before me, as we are rolling just in time, I'd say. This is going to be an interesting race, tough to pass, lovely racetrack to run, and you know it better than anyone else, of course, having raced here in real life, like you were saying. 26 cars, full grid. This is going to be awesome. Thank you for sticking with us and watching the broadcast. Ready to go?
Not taking the IndyCar start like they usually do. We're starting at the actual start line. Side by side, start off they go. Adam Blocker leading out Mark Usher. We already got a car off. That's Chris Ballman. But back up to the front, Blocker, Usher, Pileski. Pileski going out to the inside. Flying off into the gravel is Will Lamb. And we got a car spinning on the front straight as well.
Ziegler is involved. Lamb, Ziegler, Olson. A massive drama at the start of the race. We will go back to that as the drivers are trying to go back to the racing surface. Austin, big drama as we have 45 laps of racing and already several competitors are already way behind and probably with some damage. Oh, big dive!
Thank you, the Savvy Ninja, for $16.
Ooh, thank you very much.
Here's to a good race without 16 cautions. Well, you didn't need to do that, man.
Hopefully this will show on the stream. But in any case, thank you very much to the Savvy Ninja, as we are into the first lap already, which is over right now. Blocker, your leader, in front of Matt Pavelski. Nice to have a big name like him on the field. Then we have Asher on Ike. So several big names racing with us tonight, and hopefully the drivers slotting into more of a calmed, controlled chaos now that we are in the second lap of the race.
Yeah, when I said I crashed here and raced here, we were coming across the start-finish line right now, and a unfortunate 11-car crash happened right here in the USF 2000 days. So chaos and starts at Mid-Ohio goes hand in hand. So I'm kind of used to seeing that here. But our front three is Blocker, Pileski, and Usher. 1, 2, 3, they're starting to pull away from the field. They have Chris Owen right behind him as well, the top four. And the rest of the field is being led out by Andreas Ike. Looking at Sherman Vandersloot with his teammate Alessandro Dalladone. Said he wasn't going to race tonight. Something that we should just learn from him. When he says he's not going to race tonight, he will still probably show up. And the car just went way off track right there, cutting the corners. I believe that was Chris Ballman.
It was him, yes, absolutely, as Asher really putting the pressure on Pavelski, as Adam Blocker gets the fastest lap of the race, 1:06.56. Plumley with an issue.
Oh, Plumley must have gone onto the inside curb into the wall. Has been having a hard time recently. Let's get a replay of that. Did he cross that curb onto turn 1, or did he get his wheels into the grass? Yep, hit the curb.
Not the biggest of hits into the wall, but driver who had a big hit, I think, was Clinton Martin, who just towed back to the pits, even though he was going very, very slowly to begin with.
Oh, clips
wow.
it hard into the wall.
And that's why he towed back to the pits. As we go back to our race leader, Adam Blocker, 106.1, another fastest lap of the race, really putting the pedal to the metal there as he is trying to pull away, as Asher still closing in on Pavelski, Chris On and Andrea Saik following closely, rounding up your top 5.
Yeah, a little bit of battle for 13th between Marin Baumann and Dalladone. Baumann look down the inside of Marine, but look at Dalladone late on the brakes. Marin going way off the track into the gravel. Lovely paint scheme on that car. And now there's Will Lamb right behind Marin. Gonna get all the drafts. Gonna be a late dive for Will Lamb. And he's going to get it. And look at the battle up front between Dalladone and Baumann. They're going side by side. Dalladone forcing his way in there. They touch. And around goes Dalladone.
Damage on the front wing. Let's see if it pops back down, but I don't think so. Also, another driver who had damage is Will Lamb, as you can see. Maybe catch that from this camera shot. Let's see what happened there.
Well, Dalladone, he's just trying to force his way late on the brakes, heading into this right-hand turn, and unfortunately, netcode happened right there, and they touch.
Now, for these drivers that had damage at the beginning of the race, this will be nursing their car until they get to the pit stop, because if they stop twice, it's going to be a big time loss for them. I'm expecting 45 laps, not the longest lap in the world here, Austin. So one stopper should be the way to go.
Yeah, one stop is usually how they go here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Lovely, lovely track. Lovely experience to drive open wheelers around this track. If you have this track in the sim and you have the IndyCar or any other single-seater, I highly suggest you go get into this. You go drive this track because it is a experience nonetheless. Very difficult course, surprisingly. If you look at the track map, you wouldn't think it was difficult, but the elevation changes and the blind curves make this track a little bit difficult. Running on board with Mark Usher as he's chasing down Matt Pileski, coming across the usual start line here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
Archer here, his beautiful livery we have seen from the V-Apex Racing Group. As you can see, this satin, say, effect on the red there, orange, I don't know. Beautiful effect nonetheless. Almost like not a metallic that has not been refined. I absolutely love it. As Pavelski, hit the wall.
Oh! Third, Matt Pileski was battling with second place the Broken Arrow car. He's showing some Broken Arrow right now as he ended up in the wall on the penultimate corner. What has happened to Matt Pileski?
And he has to do, now he has to do, if he wants to pit for repairs, he has to do a whole lap.
It looks like a massive hit too. Let's see it come around the long right-hander, getting onto the curb just a little bit, and then on the power. Okay, not that big of a hit as I was expecting, but just enough to break that arrow. And look at that damage, it's not that big. Alessandro Dalladone is parked up onto the inside of the track, and he's going to tow back. Unfortunate for him.
I think he
Yeah,
called it a day. Maybe suspension damage after that hit. A very rare mistake for Pavelski, driver that we are not used making such errors. And now he will have a mountain to climb in this race again. Not only you have to nurse your car until the pit stop, but also, of course, you are going to lose some extra time, which is very precious around here. But you know, all jokes aside of many cars involved in dramas, I think a good portion of the field will have to spend some extra time in the pits, Austin, after the drama we have had in the beginning of the race.
Yeah, 8 laps down and already cars riddled with damage across the field like you would see at the end of the race. You're going to be spending some time with damaged cars and time with them in the pits, so it's going to be a very crazy opening laps. But great news if you're up at front and clean as a whistle, and that would be Adam Blocker. And looks like Azevedo having a little bit of a problem. You got a car off the track.
You can appreciate the damage on Willem's car. Maybe even okay. This is the camera shot that I was looking for. Front left damaged for Lamb there, for front left part of his front wing, of course. And as we go here, Clark Archer trying to go for a move on Simon Bryant.
Archer looking his way, sticking his nose into turn 1, trying to force a mistake from Bryant, but Simon Bryant going to keep ahead of Clark Archer. Push to pass is available here for the IndyCars at Mid-Ohio. And here is Will Lamb on Azevedo. Lamb makes it an easy move in the braking zone of the hairpin.
Just notice this beautiful livery on Rodrigo Azevedo, of course, paying tribute to Greg Moore and Team Forsyth. Beautiful, beautiful livery.
Alessandro Dalladone giving us a little message. There is a reason why this track is hated by everyone. I'd rather race at Orland Park.
You don't agree with this, of course, right?
I do not agree with this. Probably because I have real life experience here, but
the fact that you love it despite smashing a race car there, it's a good indication of how much you really like this track.
It's a great track to drive on the road. I must say, having only about, I don't know, 20 feet of actual racing experience here, coming across the start line, sure, I may have been backwards.
Oh, Azevedo! Oh! Azevedo almost collected by Marin there after spinning. And here we go with the Aaron Roofs there. There's a car in between them who's a lap down. Let's see what happened to the Brazilian driver.
It's going to be a very typical Mid-Ohio spin. Gets high on the curb, just like we saw Robert Plumley. Keeps the car to the middle of the track, and that spin, very dangerous right there. Very dangerous. Getting his car moving in. I believe some guys would like to see their car lock up so it would be easier to predict, but great keeping his car in the middle of the track, because we're on board the two Team Talent cars of Andrew Wood, and ooh, little bit of slow up. Is that Andreas Ike?
That was Andreas Ike, yes, and he lost one position there. Also he was dealing with the lap traffic, as Shervin van der Sloot might have made a mistake here. Following his teammate, yes, made a mistake, good save, didn't lose too much time.
Good save, very squirrely on the brakes. 4th and 5th, Wood and Ike, both driving for Team Talent, yes. And it looks like Wood, that is actually Wood on his card. It is Wood.
Yeah? Maybe we can have... oh yes, that way that is quite clearly Wood.
Wow.
Nice for the drivers with some sense of humor in the field. Something that comes out easily these days, especially in these very competitive top splits.
Very nice and very funny indeed, and I certainly want to see more of the Wood cars. As Will Lamb gets a great ace coming out of turn 1, push pass definitely enabled as he flies by Shaneberg. And looking at the background, Sherwin Vandersloot getting passed by Chris Ballman.
And we are seeing some moves. I wasn't expecting this to be the recurring theme of the race, but so far we've had several interesting overtakes, and I think we could have more as we see Downing and Bryan, the two Sadie teammates, as Chris Thompson has gone for a ride, and that is a very, very damaged car, missing his engine cover also on the rear side there. We can have oh, look at that. We can have a nice look at the way the rear end of the car works.
Engineers, take your photos now. That's some exposed suspension right there. And switching up to Shane Burke, sitting in P10, a little bit of off-track excursion right there. I want to take a quick shout out to Simon, Brian, and John Downing, the two teammates. They are two of the biggest movers in this field right now. The Sadie Simsport guys making it very, very good representation for them right now. But not the biggest movers. There's actually a tie for the biggest movers, and that is Andrew Z. Wood and Simon Bryant.
Yes, there is, sitting in fourth, and now looking to continue his good run. Like you said, 6 places were gained by him in this race. 14 laps, lap 14 starting. Well, it started for quite a bit of time now for Adam Blocker, as he's sitting in the lead of the race. He has got 3.8 seconds over Adam Blocker, and already you can see on the track and on the track map the traffic starting to play a part in this. Chris On is in 3rd place. Looking at these cars, they all seem in good shape without damage, which is going to be of course important at the pits. And then of course it's Andrew Wood and Andreas Ike, of course being teammates, sporting a similar livery. But of course I like this about North American racing, Austin, that everyone has their personal touch on the car. And you can see, of course, like we talked at length about Wood having actual wood on his car. There is someone that's going very slowly, it's Shane Burke, and he got passed by Bauman. Maybe he let him by, because I don't see any kind of incident there. Let's see. Did he press the pit limiter by accident? He moved on the right. No, he let him go.
Yeah, that's a let by. Howdy, 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 Devastate Racing. Also known
I know this guy.
Andrew Houston in the chat. Also known as my teammate and boss. And your teammate as well.
Yes, I don't know how you guys had the courage to allow me to join, but I'm grateful. Hopefully I don't make a fool of myself. I started on a good foot by showing that I have almost your pace, at least in qualifying in Daytona. Almost.
Currently we're starting on the same row, so that'll be good.
Speaking of Daytona, of course, don't miss the Roar Before the 24 here on Apex Racing TV. It will be on Saturday morning for you guys living in North America, or just after lunch for those living in Europe. It will be Radical TCR, and of course, well, it's tomorrow. It's Friday today, yes. So it's tomorrow, yes. Radicals, TCR cars and MX-5s. Then later in the afternoon, Euro V8s are back. I'm so happy about it. And then later down the road as well, we will have...
Same day. Formula 3.5.
Yeah, Formula 3.5. And you know what's the terrible news for the viewers at home? I am commentating on all 3 of them. So...
is that a terrible thing? Because I say that's a lovely thing. Speaking of terrible, though, there was a car parked on the outside. That is Kurt Hans Jensen from Scandinavia. Very unfortunate for that car. Just fall a little bit out of shape in the braking zone. Get it on the grass. Late braking and back tire, grass. Not good combination. Ooh.
It's not... Oh, well. As we switch to Oliver Silva Barrera, another driver from Scandinavia, going to the race. It's not the first time we see a driver make a mistake there and go wide, and you can never recover, basically, there. As Pavelski, despite the damage, is losing... New damage model, please. Soon IndyCar IR18. Please, please, please.
Please, please, please.
This is ugly.
Yes.
It looks like, you know, when you clap your hands and a rabbit puts his ears up to listen better, no? This is what it seems like to me. But only one ear.
It definitely, and it also might have some arrow. Well, it's definitely going to have some broken arrow for that, since the name of the team fits the team. I'm sorry about making puns about it. It's just there. Beautiful livery, though.
Yeah.
And he's right on the back end of Simon Bryant. One of the biggest movers of the race. But Ken Pileski, who was in second, actually, before he had his incident, get past him and start moving his way up the field again. There's only like 2 real overtaking possibilities here at Mid-Ohio. Looking for a setup heading into turn 1. He's going to try to get him onto the exit, avoids the curve. Just with him, car going down to the inside to defend. Simon Bryant falling into that trap to the hairpin. Pavelski unable to get to him. Looking back from the gearbox of Simon Bryant on the broken arrow driver.
Oh, passing on. I was about to say the pit limiter, not the limiter. Which is, you know, once I lost a race in Indy Fixed because I accidentally pushed the pit limiter on the final lap. We were in a big pack, and yeah, in the excitement I hit the pit limiter. But I'm happy to report I'm, as of today, back to the B license on the road, which makes me eligible for Formula 3.5 once again. So yeah. Still, Pavelski, I think Pavelski is missing, you know, it was easier for him to pass the slower cars, but now, as they lap another car, another yellow car there, maybe he's missing a little bit of extra speed, he's going deep on the brakes, but maybe here on the straight, ooh! Yeah, he's missing that extra bit of speed, because I think more than giving him issues in the corners, I think that damage is acting a bit like a parachute, basically.
Yeah, damage is helping him and hurting him at the exact same time. You think that would just be like a oxymoron right there, but it's actually making a bit of sense. It's helping him in the braking zone because he's got all that drag, but with all that drag, he can't keep up with Downing and Bryant. And oh, hard into the wall. Oliver Silva Guerrero, careful on the rejoin, buddy. That's the curb. Right here. A little bit too ambitious. Ooh. Yes. That rise is very tricky to get right.
Yeah, a great camera angle, Austin, for the 3.5. Because you can really see the gap on the rear wing. Maybe better on the ovals, but it really shows a beautiful rear wing profile. And of course, I love to show to the viewers the way this suspension works and all the bumps and the elevation changes, like you were saying. This racetrack, they are absolutely great. As we have Sherwin van der Sloot, who caught back to his teammate Shane Burke. As Pavelski, unsurprisingly, is the first to blink and head for the pits, knowing he has, of course, to repair the damage. So he does it straight away. He will lose a bit more time, but then he has a bigger portion of the race with a clean car, hopefully, so he can go and try to gain those positions back. This will be around 7 seconds longer than a normal stop, an expected stop today.
Yeah, and it's still within the very first half
Oh,
of as
we
we
have
got a multi-car collision between Pablo Marine and
Bob
oh
McDonald. No,
no,
who's that?
Barrera.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Sorry to Bob. Let's see what happened, which is not this. Well, I mean,
It
maybe
was
it's.
that.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. That was strange to say the least.
yeah, Barrera looked like he was just stopped in the middle of the track. I think he may have been recovering from a spin. Yes, he was locked up and unfortunately nowhere to go for Marin.
Is there a
He's
second
just
round in this, or did? No,
they
they both.
both just go
They...
off.
So,
And
where
Barrera,
is Matt Pavelski? He's here. He's 1 minute behind, basically a lap behind the leader, but of course, which shouldn't be that far. No, yeah, there it is. But of course, they will have to stop again. His pit stop was
13 seconds.
13.7 seconds exactly. So I think yeah, around 7 seconds slower than everyone else will do. Everyone else without damage, of course, and everyone else who doesn't put in too much fuel in his car. Good thing, you know, good thing that this car you only have one button for the tires, because today in IMSA I had to stop twice because I only changed the right side tires of my car, and I came out of the pits and it was a mess. Then I realized I, you know, oops.
Not going to say anything about it.
I won't do that mistake again on Sunday, trust me. Will Lamb is in.
Lamb into the pits. We saw him get a little bit of damage in that front left hand, so expect a longer stop than usual for him as well. Entering in at P8. Let's go to the teammates Sherwin Vandersloot and we switched from teammate to teammate Vandersloot to Shane Burke.
I think Burke let him by here on the backstretch. Same move as before. Move to the side. No need to risk if you don't want to fight, especially with a teammate. Hugo Olson trying to make a comeback. He's sitting in P15 right now. 1 lap down. Another guy 1 lap down is the 7 Ninja himself, Aaron Roofs. And he is trying to defend his position as John Downing goes into the pits. You can follow, of course, the pit stops on the graphic right on the bottom of your screen and see everyone that comes in and the pit time that they do. And I think, judging by the little bit of a flicker of the number, that Downing might have missed his pit stall slightly, 8.6 seconds, and out he goes. So, will Pavelski beat him to the exit? No, he won't. So Pavelski
and
is...
Mark Usher's in the pits.
So Pavelski didn't lose too much, all things considered.
Yeah, no.
Here comes Mark Usher. Let's see if Crisson will follow him. You know, interesting that not all the drivers are pitting at the same time. Adam Blocker is having issues with his connection. This could be a big surprise in the race. Hopefully he's able...
wasn't here during last round, and last round set a record for us. The most in-race interviews and most cautions and the most random facts said about Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah, thankfully, again, since you had about you know, 50 yards of racing experience around here, we don't have to go back to the random facts. Pavelski looking very racy.
And a little bit of wide exit on that corner for Downing. Here comes Pavelski going around the outside, hard to the brake zone, side by side they go. Does he beat him on the braking? No, he doesn't. Downing holding him off, but on the exit, Matt Pavelski flying ahead. not really flying ahead. Push to pass may have been used by Downing to hold him off. Downing showing his nose in there. They're still side by side. Great racing. Pawelski's still ahead. And as this action is going on, action is happening in the pit lane. Owen, Ike, Wood, Bryant, Bauer, all in the pit lane. We're having pit lane battles now. And a little bit of contact for Simon Bryant. And winning the race off of pit road is going to be Chris Owen.
Yeah, Bryant with a... let's see. 8.4 stop, 8.43. The leader is the only one that hasn't pitted. And they are all coming out basically together. Chris On will maintain third place. Here comes our race leader, Adam Blocker. He has 30 seconds over Mark Asher. So he has a good lead, of course, but it needs to be perfect because every second is crucial.
Every second is crucial. The undercut drivers, did they make the right choice? Or did Adam Blocker make the right choice with trying to prepare the overcut? He's 30 seconds ahead of everyone else. And here is second place Mark Usher. Adam Blocker coming out of the pit lane. He will have cold tires this lap. And in the background, there's Mark Usher.
So Pavelski has jumped Downing. Next target will be Bryant, whilst another close battle between Chris On and Wood is brewing. Let's jump with Pavelski and Bryant.
It's a nice three-car pack. There was a lap car ahead of him. I believe that was Chris Thompson. As these two are going side by side. Look at Bryant trying to force his way through there on turn one. Very risky move. But Bryant holding him off. Pawelski late send into the hairpin.
Well, let's see that Pavelski hasn't, has waited the whole race long basically to make these two moves on Downing and Bryant because of the damage. And like his teammate, Bryant tried to come back at Pavelski, but to no avail. Looks like Matt Pavelski will have the move done. But next in line, provided he can pull away from Bryant, is Andreas Eichen. Andreas is 11.8 seconds ahead with, I think, 18 laps left. This is a long and tough ask for Pavelski. So let's switch back to the fight for the podium because Andrew Wood is closing in on Chris On. So the driver from Down Under, and of course we send all of our thoughts and prayers to the people in Australia. We know we have several colleagues from Down Under fighting the terrible wildfires that have been plaguing the country for the past month basically now. So nice of Chris to be racing with us at a terribly early hour, I would imagine, if my calculations are correct. And he is holding on to a good podium, but Andrew Wood is looking to spoil this party, so to speak, and he has a lot of speed and pace in his hand, and of course lapped cars and a lot of racing left will do the rest. It's going to be certainly 15 laps more or less for On of good defending, and again he knows he cannot afford to do any mistake.
Providing us with a great show, separated by half a second. It's not going to be as aggressive as we saw with Matt in his battle for P6, but this one should be great, clean racing that we are used to here between these two.
Is this an informal crank it up?
Yes, it is a formal crank it up moment.
I see they are trading, you know, one lap, one gains, the other lap, the other gains. Good run now. Or
Good run for
maybe push to
Wood,
pass.
providing a lot of pressure on Chris Owen. They race down. I call this the front straight since we start on there, but it doesn't really seem like really the front straight. I more be the side straight, but in my case, I call it the front straight. And John Downing's off in the grass.
Let's see what happened to the CD driver here. Keeping an eye on the fight between On and Wood. We will cut to that if something happens, but at the same time, at the meantime, let's watch what happened here. A little bit of a slide, and then in the grass.
Back up front in the battle for third between Wood and On. They race through turn one and on to another lap. Just 15 laps remain here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And also, the battle for the lead is closing down as well. Mark Usher is within 2 seconds on Adam Blocker.
Let's see the lap time comparison. You are absolutely right. After the pit stop, it's been basically all but gains for second place, and I mean, this could be a great fight nonetheless to the end, as now Mark Asher is fighting with some traffic, and he loses a couple of tenths, but this fight is far from over. Look at the traffic they have in front of them.
Traffic all over the place for Adam Blocker. Going to be dealing with that dirty air as well. And lap traffic antics, because I believe that is, yes, that is the 12th and 11th car of Sherman Vandersloot and Shane Burke. So teammates nonetheless, but still they're going to be providing a lot of trouble. And this is the place where you do not want to have lap traffic coming over the hills and around these sweeping corners.
Oh!
Very difficult, and he's being held up right there.
Losing a bunch of time. 1 second. He lost 1 second. Oh, here's someone is around there in the back.
Ooh.
Is it Azevedo? It is Azevedo.
It is. Going over the crest, down into the valley, and very, very aggressive on the turn in.
Okay. But back to live.
And we're back. And the battle up front is into 1.4 seconds. Usher has triggered up the battle box, I must say. But this battle for third is still nail-biting close between Wood and Owen.
There's more traffic in front. In the back you see Asher starting to creep through, and if we go on board with him, he's now dealing with traffic, going very, very wide. This is, of course, not the easiest place to overtake, like we said many times, especially with lap traffic, and especially, of course, goes without saying, if lap traffic is actually in a fight with each other.
And here's Wood on the back of Owen. The battle for third between these two. And they have double traffic ahead of them as well.
Yeah, all the traffic that was once in the path of Blocker and Asher eventually will come in front of On and Wood, and being that these two guys are even closer because the gap is 0.4 of a second, the lappers will be an even bigger challenge in my opinion. Let's see now, the leaders should be in relatively clean air. Next in line will be Thompson and Roofs.
Usher still has traffic ahead of him.
Asher still has traffic, you are absolutely right. should be Thunder's Loot right in front of him. Oh!
Double wheel lockup and counter steer mid corner, and at a blocker, he's seeing that relative go higher and higher and higher. But the relative with Uned Wood is getting lower and lower and lower.
This is a great fight, and we'll go on until one of the two makes a mistake, or like right now. Thanks for the commentator's curse, Marco, because Wood goes a bit wide. If you go wide in the corner, there is no way you can make it. We have seen several times, and of course, each driver will have to learn it sooner rather than later at their own expense, of course. Maybe there's a bit of dirt or marbles on the outside of the corner, so these drivers are try to go there to get a better launch on the front stretch, like you call it, of course, because it is effectively. In Argentina they have a track where they start with a rolling start, then they do a corner, and then there is the start-finish line, because it's a shorter straight, and they prefer to start earlier in Turismo Carretera, so they call that corner between the start and the start-finish line, they call it corner number 0. So this would be corner 0, and that would be 0A, and this 0B basically. But Andrew Wood, minus 1. Andrew Wood now with a couple of mistakes, and this gives breathing room almost 2 seconds ahead is Chris on, so good for him, because he was under some big pressure. It's not that usual that the guy behind is the one making the mistakes when there is a chase going on, but that has been the case as we are already in the final 10 laps of the race, now 9 laps of the race. Adam Blocker now dealing with Chris Baumann. He has, despite this not being, you might say, okay, there's not a lot of traffic there, but of course, this being a very, very short track, you are bound to catch back to everyone else eventually, so traffic could still play a part in this, as for the first time I think in the entire race action is a bit calmed all over the field, so we will enjoy the beautiful scenery, and of course start to get ready for the next round, which is going to be next weekend. Of course we are going to be back on the ovals, because we do one road and one oval. And it's the
beginning of the double header.
Oh yes, at Homestead Miami Speedway. First the oval, and then the week after the road course B. So interesting choice, which I absolutely love by the schedule organizers, especially because it reminds me that when I was reading many years ago Alex Zanardi's autobiography. Basically, his first approach with kart when he became a Ganassi driver was 4 days of testing at Homestead, 2 days on the oval, of course the old Homestead oval, the terrible one, and then the next 2 days they used the road course to test. So basically, it reminded me of those days. It will be interesting to compare also the drivers. The same drivers, in same track but different configurations. How they will approach as Wood is going for a little bit of rallycross. Here comes Pavelski as Wood is able to gather the car back up before Pavelski can make the move. And now Pavelski is 3.3 seconds back. Let's see what happened there, because Wood has been making some mistakes in the past few laps, and this has really altered his charge towards the podium.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because
he went wide again.
He did go wide, and it looks like he was actually going onto the rallycross track that is there right now, where turn 1 is at the exit of that hairpin.
I love that this racetrack also has an oval configuration here in iRacing, which I never tried. I should try it.
It's great fun in the Legends car, I must say.
Too bad it's never used. I mean, I've never seen it used in any capacity in official series. Bauman and Downing after the pit stop has really dropped back. I don't know if he has some damage, but he is falling like a rock and now in danger of losing P9 at the same time. Right in front of them, another Sadie driver in trouble is Simon Bryant under pressure from Will Lamb. So the Sadie boys with some issues as Olson went a bit wide there, but he was able to save the car. And also we have another fight because, well, we had a fight because Van der Sloot was putting pressure on Bauman and made a mistake.
Will Lamb and Simon Bryant having a good old battle for P7 with 6 laps to go here at Mid-Ohio. And they're actually closing in on Andreas Ike.
Oh!
And the battle for knife down. He makes a mistake. Locked up on going into that corner. They're side by side. Bryant, Downing, and Bauman. Chris Bauman has been having a rough but very irritating day. We've been seeing him in a lot of battles. Trying to force any mistake from Downing. Well, he's been successful at that already. Let's see how he goes through turn 1. Into -1. Goes to the curb. Actually losing it. Heading into 0 hairpin. We're using the new turn numbers designed by you.
Bauman, no, really, I'm surprised about the Sadie lack of pace in the second half of the race because they were fighting for the top 5 earlier. Oh!
Another walk up in the same corner for Downing. We know Downing is very consistent, but consistent on the brakes. Well, that's just showing his consistency. Unfortunately, in that case, it's walk-ups. You just see by the different lines, but Bauman's got a great run on him. Looking for the outside line. Just now the inside line. So you head into the carousel. Downing and Bauman. Nose to tail. Front wing to gearbox racing here at Mid-Ohio 4P9.
These two duos that are bad. Oh, Bauman losing a bunch of time because he lets by the race leader. Very gentlemanly of him, but maybe he lifted a bit too much to let by Adam Blocker. So big relief.
If he stays close to Adam Blocker, he can try to sneak his way up with Downing.
But I don't think Downing will lift that much to let the leader by. That was a big lift by Bauman. And here we go.
Well, Downing's not lifting at all. Downing holding his line right there, heading into turn 1. Downing's not even lifting. Downing's is basically just letting Adam Blocker by, but letting him have the inside line. Now we'll see if Bauman can chase him down. But Downing has that draft on Blocker. It's a very weird
look
thing.
at the run.
Woo!
A run from Bauman.
Downing, he's in dirty air now, and Bauman has been having to deal with Downing's dirty air, but now that Downing has dirty air, he's going much slower than he was used to. And here comes Bauman. Bauman looking for a run. And oh my goodness!
Wow, that was not something I was expecting, to be honest. With the lapped car there. Oh, they're so close!
In there. You can just reach out and touch him as they enter 2 laps to go, and here comes Bauman into turn 1. Late dive, getting onto the curb almost. We got a car off onto the other side of the road as they're having a drag race here in Ohio. Bauman looked to try to make a move down the inside, thought about it, didn't want it. He's got a longer straight coming up this time. Can use his push to pass and all that draft he's getting from Downing, or he is setting up for a last lap pass here between him as Wood and Pileski are having a battle.
2 laps to go, with the race leader, of course. Next time he crosses the start-finish line, it will be 1 to go. Oh, he's so close. Pavelski going for the move on the inside. And gets it.
Makes it stick. Back to the battle for 9th between Downing and Ballman. White flag is in the air here at Mid-Ohio. And new fastest lap for Adam Blocker.
Absolutely fantastic from Blocker. Sale la Blanca. These 2 guys are 1 lap down, so this is the final chance for Bauman to get the move done. At the same time, Bryant defending from Will Lamb. And now these guys will have 1 more chance because they are on the lead lap, unless they get lapped by the leader, who is not going to get them, of course, unless they make a mistake. Here we go. Bauman knows they have the white flag on their screen. They know this is their last chance.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
C's been having trouble in that corner, and Bauman goes off the track trying to chase down Downing. He saw the red miss, but the red miss bit him back with that mistake.
Oh, and now he's
Oh.
somewhere. He's back on
going
track.
Down the hill. And comes right in front of the track ahead of
A lap
one
car.
of the one of the lap cars. I'm not sure which one it was though. As Adam Blocker takes the win here at Mid-Ohio, followed by Usher. Back into battle for 7 between Lamb and Bryant. They're going to be having a race to the line. They're coming down the very front straight. Lamb defending out to the inside. Here comes Bryant trying to swing it around the outside. Who's going to be the best in the late breakers between these two? Lamb swings it around the outside. No, that's Bryant swinging around the outside of Lamb. Getting these 2 cars confused again. They're both blue. So...
Meantime, on third, Pavelski, then Wood. So Lamb got the move at -1 or 0, sorry. And then on the backstretch, Bryant got the position back. And now 1 more corner to go. Bryant will get P7 after a very nice fight.
But Simon Bryant takes P7 up 6 spots. Not the biggest mover in the field. The biggest mover that goes to Ken Suzuka down at P18. But all eyes are on Adam Blocker returning to the top step of the podium after missing last week. Here are your full results for Power Slide Motorsports. Adam Blocker takes the win, followed up by Mark Usher, Chris Anone, Matt Pileski, Andrew Z. Wood, Andreas Ike, Simon Bryant, Will Lamb, John Downing, Chris Ballman, Shane Burke, Sherman Vandersloot, Hugo Olsen, Rodrigo Azevedo, Robert Plumley, Aaron Roofs, Chris Thompson, Ken Suzuka in 18th, Clark Archer, Bob McDonald, Pablo Marine, Oliver Barrera, Kurt Hall Jensen, Alessandro Dalladonde, Chris Martin, and Thomas Zeiger. All the way in 26, who unfortunately was one of the cars that we lost on the opening lap.
Yeah, that big mess. Let's watch it again. Thank you for reminding me, as our race winner is enjoying his donuts. Let's see if we can go back to the mess we had at the start. As we see Thomas Zeiger. He was starting well, very much at the front. Did he get... Oh! Oh, he got collected.
Ooh.
He got collected by one of the yellow cars. There were two yellow cars in the field.
Yeah, one of the Penske cars, one of the Pentel cars. There were actually two Pentel cars, the exact same livery. Surprisingly,
Trying to find out who he was.
it was Barrera.
No, Barrera is. No, Barrera was fine. So
Yeah, Barrera was the other yellow car.
okay. Let's see from Oliver's point of view. He had a very chaotic race as well. So remember, we also had that driver going through the daisies at the start of the race. Yeah, the mess has already happened, as you can see there. But for the life of me, I cannot find. Maybe it was no. Well, okay, it's a mystery for next time. This one. Let's see if we have some drivers ready for interviews.
We do indeed. Let's go to the man himself, Adam Blocker, taking P1 in a very convincing way. Howdy, Adam. How are you doing?
Doing pretty well.
Well, I would be doing pretty well, and it seems like you're doing pretty good, and very happy because you were doing some great donuts up front straight.
Yeah, Mid Ohio is kind of tough to do that because it's a tight front straight, but I think I got it about right with the wall. But yeah, it was a really fun race. I mean, I thought Mark and Matt Pavelski both had something in terms of pace. I knew it was gonna be close from practice times, and then in qualifying, I just did a really almost perfect lap, at least for me. So that gave me pole. And from there, I knew Mid Ohio was tough to pass, and the main obstacle throughout the race would be lap.
Yeah, we saw lap traffic playing a lot of parts in some battles lower down the field. Any tricky parts with this track? I know the start is different than in real life, and you're starting in that long left-hander bend down that front straight. What's different for starting there than the regular start?
I mean, I think it makes it better for the leader, but if you're further back in the pack, it makes it tricky to go wheel to wheel through turn one, which is probably why they don't do it in real life. But to be honest, it's not too different. I would say the part of the track that's the toughest is the technical section between China Beach and Thunder Valley. It's constant corners, and you have to take on a fast lap you have to take almost a perfect line through all of them. But realistically, in the race, every lap you're not gonna be able to hit that line exactly, so you have to just be constantly in adaptation mode, adapt to what your line was in the previous corner to optimize the next corner based on your slight mistake, because you're going to always make little mistakes in there. And the tough part with that is some of the corners have weird cambers on exit, like weird banking changes and weird hill changes, so it's really easy to spin if you get slightly offline and have too much wheel in it when you get on the throttle. So I would say that's the toughest part, especially when you catch traffic there. That makes it even tougher.
Yeah, in Ohio is sometimes Ohio has a bunch of roller coasters, and I call it the roller coaster without any track because this entire place is just insane to drive on, especially in real life. And you weren't here last week after the debacle that was the Richmond race, and you're back onto the top set of the podium. Were you planning on always missing Richmond?
Well, I made the Monday race. It was a lot of fun actually because it split. But yeah, I had to miss Richmond due to travel. But yeah, definitely. I was kind of disappointed I missed it because it's normally one of my favorite tracks. Although I heard it didn't go the best. But
we had some fun on Wikipedia mid race. It was a very factual race, I must say.
But yeah, I hope today was a little bit better, and I think Homestead will be good the next couple weeks. We're doing the 1.5 mile oval, and then the road course. The road course is going to be really interesting because I think you're going to see a lot of people on different downforce trims. So it's going to be
Fun is definitely prepared for the next 2 weeks. Thank you, Adam. And before you go, anyone who want to shout out?
Just power slide, especially Henry Bennett and Brian Carey. We kind of knew Mid Ohio was one of our weaker tracks throughout the last year, so we kind of spent some time a couple weeks ago working on setup, and I think it's definitely helped. Obviously, we'll see throughout the year whenever we go to Mid Ohio and Barber, sort of how we're doing now. But yeah, definitely looking forward to them now. I think we're a little bit stronger, and just want to thank you guys for covering the race.
All right. Thank you, Adam. Congrats on the win one more time. And you have a good day.
Yeah, see.
All right, Marco. I believe you have Pileski next.
Absolutely. Hello to Matt Pavelski. Welcome to the booth.
Thanks for having me.
Let's say it was a very interesting race from your point of
Oh,
view.
yeah.
Talk to us about the start, the mistake, and then the comeback, which eventually led you to a P4 finish.
At the start, it was pretty much going the way I hoped it would go. Blocker, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to catch Blocker. He was just so fast here. But I was keeping in touch with him. I was minding my gap back to Mark. And then I did pretty much what I told my team I had a chance of doing earlier, and that's spinning in first gear coming out of the carousel. I don't know how much time I lost from that, but I think it put me back in, I think, 8th or 9th. And then I had to wait until, I think, 8 laps after I spun, 10 laps after I spun to pit because I was out of the fuel window. Had a hard time getting around some cars with the damage, so I lost, probably 10 seconds trying to get through them. But pitted a little bit early and started putting in some fast laps, personal bests. And yeah, I mean, at that point, the car was on rails. The track was nice and rubbered in, so it wasn't really going to get loose on you. The car, I mean, Zach Campbell set up the car, so I mean, the car was incredible. I could dive in late on the brakes. I could get on the power early. So yeah, had a couple of fun moves to get back to 4th. Thought I had a shot at 3rd, but Chris is a little too far out there, but it was a fun day.
Overall, what are your thoughts about this current track combination?
Oh, I love it. I mean, the IR18, it's at least like our setup is a little bit antsy in first gear and in the slow speed stuff, but there's nothing really better than Mid Ohio and IndyCar. It's kind of like peanut butter and jelly. It's the essence of what IndyCar is. It's an awesome car track combo.
Matt, thank you very much for joining us. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
I want to thank Brendan Lichtenberg for running the fuel numbers the whole race. AJ Burton was also there helping me try to strategize and figure out where I was in relation to other cars. And of course, Zach for building such an awesome set.
Thank you very much, Matt. Congratulations on the good comeback before, and catch you next time.
All right, thank you.
And that was Pileski. And honestly, it was a great race here today. We had a great time in the booth, and we had a great time watching the race. And I can't wait for the next 2 weeks as we head to Homestead, Miami for a great doubleheader in store for y'all.
Yes, it's going to be great. Don't miss it. But of course, don't miss the 3 races we have on schedule tomorrow, starting at 13 GMT, if my memory serves me right, for the Roar Before the 24 organized by Apex Racing League. Then later at 18 GMT, the Euro V8s are back. And after that, at 22 GMT on the iRacing Esports Network this time, we will have another round of the Formula 3.5 series with me and Austin. So you don't want to miss that. It's been a great night of racing, Austin, and time to wrap up things.
Yes, it is. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here on the IndyCar Series. I've been joined always by Marco Barbanera. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a great night.